Shake the Kremlin! Ukraine liberated the Herston region. Russia admitted on Sunday that it had lost almost the entire northern region of Kharkiv in the wake of a suspicious lightning strike after Ukrainian forces were stunned by a lightning strike that costed 1,000 square miles in an important military. And Ukraine could never defeat Russia based on the premise widely held in Moscow and parts of the West. Russia's hasty withdrawal from a large chunk of Ukrainian territory it had captured in early summer shook the Kremlin's cheerleaders and raised voices in the West demanding that more weapons be sent to Ukraine so it could win. Russia also had a few words to say on the subject, but we'll dig deeper into this at the end of the video. New success of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade, which has achieved great success since the beginning of the war, was shared in latest reports. Soldiers of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade planted the Ukrainian flag on the liberated village of Novozemsk in the Herston region, Ukraine. Blue and yellow flag flies in the village of Novozemsk. Everything will be Ukraine, the report said. They wrote in the continuation of the. For the Ukrainian general, staff announced that the Ukrainian armed forces liberated the settlements of Vysokopilia, Novozemsk below Rurka, Suki Starbuk and Maro-Lubica in the Herston region. Currently, the area has been cleared of mines and additional measures are being taken here. At the same time, Russian troops were successfully tricked by the Ukraine into focusing on the southern part of the country, while Zelensky's forces recaptured territory in the northeast. While Moscow is grappling with the consequences of the collapse of the occupying power in northeastern Ukraine, the Ukrainian forces carried lands captured from the fleeing Russian troops further on Monday. The Kyiv General Staff said early Monday that its forces had retaken more than 20 towns and villages in just one day after Russia admitted it had abandoned its main northeastern stronghold, Izium, about the newly liberated settlements. General Staff said to take them under full control and stabilization measures are being implemented, said the efforts of the Ukrainian forces were aided by a special disinformation operation that tricks Russia into thinking that Kyiv would focus on the south of the country. We will delve deeper into the details of this topic in the coming minutes. We will take a closer look at how the Russian army lost territories one by one, while Putin fell for Ukraine's clever move. This was a major private disinformation operation. Russia thought that the main war would be in the south and moved its equipment. Then, instead of the south, the attack took place in an unexpected place, causing them to panic and flee. By the way, the soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces in Haiti were given the best Western weapons, mostly American. Late on Sunday, Moscow attacked infrastructure facilities in Haiku, depriving many civilians of electricity and water in an attack that Ukrainian authorities denounced as a set of raid over their losses. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that there are total power outages in Kharkiv. Donetsk region's Russia's retreat to the northeast is considered the greatest embarrassment for President Vladimir Putin's larger and better equipped forces. Since attempts to capture the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv were repelled at the start of the invasion, the worst case for Putin has begun to be discussed. Among them is the collapse of a widespread assumption, both inside and outside of Russia, that Russia will inevitably triumph eventually Ukraine's sudden success. The battlefield provided support not only to the Ukrainians, but also to their supporters in Europe, who faced a tough winter of rising energy prices and inflation. Analysts say the Ukrainian military's ability to use its Western-supplied weapons to gain a major advantage against Russia will increase the pressure on countries like Germany to procure more complex, heavier weapons such as tanks, according to analysts. The Ukrainian counterattack is clearly repaying, making its European allies happy for the help they have provided Ukraine. After months of stalemate, a sudden push by Ukrainian forces from a weak Russian line near to the northeastern city of Kharkiv was routed as Ukraine recaptured hundreds of square kilometers of territory in an operation that continued over the weekend. Alexander Oninskin, economic advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said Monday it is critical to maintain momentum on the battlefield because I think there's growing support in Europe as they see it, and they need to understand that it is stated that soon more weapons will be transferred from Europe to Ukraine. This shift in momentum on the battlefield, though still uncertain, will strengthen Europe's resolve and facilitate Washington's continued transatlantic solidarity in supporting Ukraine and punishing the Russian economy, although the economic blow to Europe will be severe this winter. And perhaps next winter, Russian President Vladimir Putin has already used one of his last economic weapons, the almost complete cutoff of natural gas to Germany. However, even this sanction imposed by Putin seems to be of little use. The US and NATO countries have so far focused mainly on providing Russian-made weapons that Ukrainians know to use, as well as carefully selected Western weapons such as anti-tank rockets and more recently and more importantly long-range artillery. With the West largely deprived of Russian-made weapons, it is thought that the delicate issue of procuring more complex heavy weapons such as American and German tanks may be posed. What a win actually looks like is not yet clear and not open to significant discussion, as Germany is concerned about the risks inherent in different scenarios with countries like France and the United States. While the long stalemate showed Russia that aggression would fail, it had the advantage of avoiding the risk that Ukraine's victory would create a new dynamic in Russia that no one could control. At this point, Europe should define its own strategy more clearly and take its position more firmly in Russia's war with Ukraine. Yeah, but it has the power to. Huntington, however, when these Trump alternatives are found, it can be turned into useless trump card. After all, Putin may not be able to sit on his throne if he loses his war in Ukraine. Investing on this possibility will strengthen the hand of the West much more. More serious investments can be made in this regard, especially since the sudden pressure of Ukraine has triggered the rebellion movements in Moscow. The Russian army has been losing positions for more than half a year. Therefore, a key question arises: will this have political ramifications for Vladimir Putin? For more than 20 years, Putin has earned a reputation as a winner among the Russian elite, especially for inner word invincibility, as he always manages to get out of the most difficult situations. I've often seen him as the Russian version of the famous illusionist and the incredible master of releasing buns and locks from the most trusted. How he couldn't eat. No matter what knots and chains Putin tied, he always managed to escape. After February 24th, the situation changed. The last 6 months have shown that President Putin's decision to attack Ukraine was a serious miscalculation. Unable to achieve a swift retreat, Russia embarked on a long and bloody offensive and suffered a series of infamous defeats. When the overall of invincibility in an authoritarian leader fade, it can become a problem. For the leader himself, Vladimir Putin should know the history of Russia. When the Russian leaders followed but did not win wars, it ended badly for them.
Thank you for watching. Please tell me what you think below in the comments section. If you think my video is helpful, please remember to like and share video. And don't forget to follow page now.